Hey, ladies, and welcome back to the Girl Talk Podcast. My name is Brandy Blaine, and I'm here with my first lady. Hey, Pastor Lachelle.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited. It's January. We made it.
2021.
2021. Guys, and faithful.
He has been always.
And despite of 2020, we are looking forward to a lot of great things this
It's
year.
already done.
Oh, come on.
2021, baby.
What my pastor says already done.
He did.
What a powerful message that was on Sunday. I'm excited for this week. I mean, Girl Talk
Yes.
Friday was the bomb. It was on. Well, you
Friendship.
go ahead.
Yeah,
What-
it was on friendship. And
Friendship.
I think friendship is so important.
Yeah.
It is so important to every woman. I think everybody should have a good friend, a group of friends.
Yeah.
But I think it's so important because if you allow friendships to grow and
Mhm.
mature, I think somebody said it at Girl Talk on Friday that they grow into families. So I think they're very, very important.
Even before we start, it just listening to the ladies talk, it instantaneously took me back when you picked the topic on tea on relationships, and
Yeah.
we were just thinking about how important it is at times to just focus on like your relationship with your spouse or whatnot. And then tonight it just came full circle for me of even more how important it is for us to cultivate our friendships.
Yes.
And so one of the ladies said at night we put so much time and emphasis on just our spouse, but no, friendships are needed, but
Yeah.
you also have to cultivate those.
Yes, you do.
So
That is
you
important.
you invited some special guests
I
today
did.
to talk
They-
about friendship.
Some people that
Your
think
friends?
they're my friends.
Hey, friend. Hey, friend. I'm so excited. Hey, friend.
We got Ashley Turner here and Rashina Warren.
Hi, friend.
They are special.
They are. And
They
they
are
have
definitely
a
special to
special
me.
friendship.
They do have a special
Yeah, they have a special
I
friendship.
tell you, I let that out one time. Like, my friend, I talked to my friend. I want to bring it back.
Put it in my pocket.
No,
No
yeah, put it in the
takebacks.
atmosphere.
No
that was for
takebacks.
manifestation.
It's over.
But these are some dear young ladies
Yeah.
that I really do love.
Yeah.
So I wanted them to come on because they have a great relationship. They have a great
They
friendship.
do. They do. We normally just dive right in because when I'm excited and it's high, it's like so many things on the top of my head just from what you ladies shared tonight. And one of the first things I would love for y'all to just elaborate on that one of you mentioned. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one. Just the phrase of "happy for her, expecting for me." That thing preached.
Yes.
And I
yes.
said, I hope they're listening. And so it is. It's hard. We think about how much we do love our friends and we don't look at it as jealousy, but how that spirit could kind of creep in. And just with you guys having a long-standing friendship and that phrase, not to say that was your testimony, but that phrase of happy for her, expecting for me, if you could, either one of you, whoever wants to take it, just elaborate more on that because I thought that was so profound.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, you shared that specific quote, but I was just sharing a little bit about like Sheena being in a relationship, and I was like really struggling with jealousy, and I really was grateful to have God kind of peel that off of me because in today's world we joke about, okay, this girl's winning and this guy's winning and they're getting promotions, and you be looking like, so maybe I'll creep out into the world and come back. Like you would be lying if you just dip a toe, and it's really like, if God
I can
can do
understand that. A toe.
it's just a toe, like
Just
I
a
mean,
toe.
like I'll come back and I'll surf.
But you don't always come back.
And-
Some
yeah.
people get stuck
And
out
I mean-
there. Oh my toe. Now my
getting
ankle in my
green.
leg.
now I'm all the way in the water.
Cut it
But
off. Cut it off.
I think it's just important to be reminded that if God can do something for your friend that you've been believing for and that you've been praying for and you've been standing with them for, how much more can He do for you? And if you learn to be happy for people and learn to celebrate people, God sees that, and I think that's really important.
I think the thing that you said that struck out to the most to me, that you just admitted it. You were like, "This is where I am," and you had the sense, Brandy, to not be like, "Girl, if you don't stop," but you said, "Okay, we got to do something about this,"
Yeah.
and you brought them the book
Yeah.
to do, and that Sheena wasn't judgmental, and she didn't let you go as a friend, And I think that is the ultimate. That is the ultimate friendship, that you could be honest at where you were at the
Yes.
time,
Yes.
and your friend was like, "I'm sorry that you feel that way."
Yeah.
And I think so many times in the world we don't communicate like that. We get offended because you offended that I got something that you want.
Yeah.
And
But you my friend, and I'm saying I love you. How?
but we got to walk through things
Yeah.
with each other, and it's not always pretty. It's not always nice. It's not always the good stuff, but it's the vulnerable place, I think.
Yeah, we tackled that head on. I think when Ashley finally admitted it, I was like, "Oh, well, friend, like what? I don't know what to do. At first I was like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, do I not share with her this part of my life? But like, you're my best friend. I can't like cut off sharing that piece of my life with you. And so like I kept sharing. We kept praying, and then she thankfully had Brandy to like have a sounding board and somebody to like talk to outside of me, and we were able to walk through that.
Yeah, it's like, friend, you got to get healed because I got to tell you this stuff.
Right.
Yes.
And what's beautiful about this is that Brandy and I weren't that good of friends at the time. I was really kind of just, I knew her because of O Kids and she had young kids at the time. But through us walking through that, we actually developed a deeper friendship. So that moment, even God used that to expand my friend group and expand my family. And I'm grateful that I was able, it took me a minute. I want to be honest. And so it wasn't like I was like, no, I'm so happy for you. But I was like, I'm going to cry while you go out on your day. And so it took me a minute, but I got there. And I'm grateful that she met me there. What'd she say?
Never mind. She said she was crying.
I was
with you.
crying with her.
Well, that
What's wrong with you? My friend is sad, but I'm glad to be with you with my friend.
But what I love about that, like you said, because you were going to share, because you knew she was your friend, and you knew outside of that hurt that she was going through in that moment that she wanted the best for you. And I think that is the telltale sign of a great friend. Of even though I want something that you're experiencing that you have, I still want to hear all the good parts about it. And I think when we're able to really be happy for her, expecting from us, that's when you know the Lord has really done a great work, because it is hard. But when you say you love someone as a friend, I want to hear and celebrate all the good stuff. But like Pastor Rochelle said, for you to admit that, it's like, let's start there, because if you want this friend, I want you to know I'm having an off day. I'm in my feelings about something, but I'm still so happy for you. But that's an honest place to be like, yeah, I want a man. Shoot, I want to be dating. I think I love how you said, because I want to get
still
dressed
want
up
one.
too.
Just to be clear.
I want y'all to have.
So
What'd you say?
I still want
She
one.
said she still want one.
She
Let's-
said,
let's
that one
be
didn't work
clear.
out. That didn't quite work
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
okay
Yeah,
because
that's
that
okay.
was the best. That was the best.
Mhm.
But I do still want one.
praise be.
Just to be clear.
I'm mad at that. Well, Christine, I got to ask you, in reference to, you guys also talked about cultivating friendships and having different friendships and what that looks like, because everybody's not going to be your best friend, but you still can have great friendships. And I think once people are able to really look at that for truth and be okay with that, I think it's easier to proceed in friendship. So how would you expand on being okay with not every friendship looking the same?
Well, one is being honest with yourself, right? So like being honest with where your friendship is and where your friend group is. And so like something that I've done is like, when someone wants to hang out, I'm going to hang out, and and I think somebody asked, like, how do you develop friendships as an adult? Like, you hang out, and it doesn't have to be awkward. You don't have to make a friend contract, like the
Honest in blood.
like Nene and
What was it when you like prick your finger?
yeah,
and
like,
doing
prick
too
your
much.
finger together. Like,
What
you
was
know,
it?
like you don't have to do all of that. Like hang out and do those things and just see where it goes, right? And like my friend groups, like I have sorority sisters. I was in a sorority. I have friends from college that I still communicate with and talk to, but like we're not on those same wavelengths that we were, like those same waves that we were, but I still have those relationships. And if they're important to you, you're going to do what it takes to cultivate that and do what it takes to maintain that friendship. Maybe I'm not talking to them every day or every week or whatever.
okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But like, hey, I'm checking in on you, see how you're doing, and just keeping a pulse at least on those relationships and friendships.
Yeah. I think even something else y'all shared, it's kind of along the same lines when you said making it even an effort, because think about it, let's be honest. If two people are single and they're friends and then someone gets, is dating someone, which is great, that's fine. But the reality is if you fall off with that person and you're no longer checking in, right? It's almost like now that you found a different friendship, relationship, you no longer value the other relationship the same. And I think, and that could be hard too. And you have to remember, like we said, to cultivate, make effort, set aside time, do a check-in, almost the same things that you were doing before, because I know I'm married, but at the same time, my friendships are still so important.
Yeah, I was gonna say I still go out to dinner with my friends. I go on vacation with my friends.
Yeah.
And
I've seen
my
some of those vacations.
Oh, Lord.
and my husband gives me room to do that. I
Yeah.
think those are very, very important.
Yeah.
Can't wait for our vacation.
Well, I tried to come on the one you was on that beach house.
That was a special one.
Yeah.
That was
We're trying to play. Yeah, we're gonna play one. That's fine. We're gonna do it.
Oh my gosh. I think sometimes too when we think about friendships and the new modern day term of no new friends. I love how y'all talked about even with before Christ and coming to Christ, not limiting what God wanted to do in your life in reference to establishing certain people, whether if it was for a season, a time, but because it's true, now today, no new friends. I got my clique, I got my friends, da 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 da. But oh my goodness, like Pastor Joe, could you imagine how we would have hindered relationships had that been our true heart of saying,
Oh my gosh.
I'm good. No new friends.
I look at when I went to Cincinnati, I was friends with your sister-in-law. And I wouldn't have been if I would have had that mentality of not being friends because
I wouldn't be here.
You might not be.
I
might
would
not
not.
know you.
I
you
would
know?
not be here.
And so I think that's so cool. I think we have to be open because I can't. I mean, I could have had that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Especially if I wasn't saved. It's like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
This is enough. Because I had my Redskin friends. I had my high school, my junior high friends.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really, when I moved to Nashville, I wasn't really looking for any new friends.
Yeah.
And I came in a relationship with Cece, which I was a stalker. And she
But you wanted that to be your friend,
friend,
so you
but
put in the work. No,
I
I'm teasing.
did. But yeah, and it just developed into a relationship because our daughters were friends.
Yeah.
And then after knowing her for so many years, she introduced me to one of her friends. And I was like, now friend, like that's enough. Like we got other people. We put more people in here.
Yeah.
And I am so thankful that I was open to that. That lady, she is a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Like she is an encourager when when you don't know you need it. She'll send me a text or she'll, send me something. Friend, I was just thinking about you today. What?
Yeah. And look how the Lord sent you that gift in the form of friendship. And I think it's so big when we can acknowledge that in our hearts, whoever he has for us, we can make room.
Yes, we can.
We can make room. And I don't take it lightly, what you said, even in reference to my sister-in-law, because I think about it. No, we would not have been here because I remember her calling saying, hey, do you remember so-and-so? We played with them. Well, they have a church. Because had you not even made a little room for her in that relationship, she wouldn't have been calling to say, hey, remember so-and-so?
Yeah.
So I thank God that you were open to being a friend. And I think as women of God, even if it's not for us in that particular season or even to be best friends, to still honor the individuals God placed in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really, really, really important.
One thing from each of you that you like to wrap up in reference to friendships. Why? Why do I need a friend? Why are friendships important? If someone had to ask, because sometimes, people be in their season, oh, I'm good. But are you really?
Are you
so
really?
why friendship?
we're built for relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, I think God built us to first have a relationship with him and then have a relationship with others. And I think it's important that whether you're married, single, that we're built to be in community. So friendship is important because that's what God created us for. So like if you're in a season where you think I don't need any new friends, like you're probably not right with Jesus. Like just straight up.
Yeah,
like I know that
yeah.
sounds really harsh, but like that's probably true if you're hurt and you're trying to build a wall and
Yes.
trying to protect yourself and like so either way, you're still not good.
Yeah.
And you need people who can pull you out of that, who can pray with you, who can just be around you to love you and cheer you on and celebrate you. So I think we're made for friendship.
I think that's true too. I just want to piggyback off what Ashley said because it just brought me to remembering even just this Thanksgiving. Cara had a friend. She came to me, and COVID is out here, and I was like, she's like, "Mommy, I have this friend who wants to come, but I said, she gotta take a test, and She came, and let me just tell you, just a short story. It's the sweet little Jewish girl. She sent us a Christmas, and I say Jewish because she sent us a Christmas present.
Wow.
They don't really believe in, they don't celebrate Christmas, but she was so thoughtful.
Yeah.
What our family did for her, and that friendship that Cara had with her, now she's become family to us. So I thought that was, it was very thoughtful.
Yeah.
So I think it's very crucial, like she said, community.
All right, Sheena, why friendship?
Well, gosh, she took mine. Yeah, but like you just need someone that's able to just like tell you about yourself, that you could be vulnerable with, and that can help you out of situations and pull you out of situations. I know, like me and Ashley, like I've definitely been in the dumps, and Ashley was like, "Okay, friend, I'm gonna let you sit here for a little bit." She gave me a little Joel Osteen, and then she gave me a little TD Jakes, and
That
so
TD. Come on.
I just think that like
Jeez.
it's important to learn how to be vulnerable with someone
Yeah,
that's not
that's so
even
good.
your blood.
Yeah.
Just because it's going to prepare you for your other relationships with your kids, with relationships with your spouse. Like, I just think that friendships, like at the end of the day, that's like the foundation for it. And so, you need to learn how to be vulnerable and get yourself prepared for that.
I love
That's
that. I
good.
love that. Well, I'm glad you ladies were able to drop in for a little bit. You know, y'all had some other guests up, and we want to get them in too, just to hear a little bit more about friendship. So we do appreciate y'all for coming.
Thanks for stopping
Grateful
by.
for
You're
your
welcome, friend.
friendship and how the Lord has even allowed y'all to be examples for other people.
Yes.
And we do love y'all. So thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Love you, friends.
My friend.
Love you, Sheena and Ashley.
I'm going to say love y'all, friend. All right, so Pastor LaChelle, you have to introduce our additional guests for today to talk about friendship.
This is Carol Smith, and this is Carlene Honor. And this is so funny. I knew Carlene first because Carlene is her husband coached Cara for 7 years. Like a long time, and he like one of their children, and so anyway, he be spoiling. He spoiled her way too much, but I love how he loved on my baby, and I think if she could have took him to college and been her coach, she probably would have. He was great, but I knew Carlene first, and I remember Carlene introduced Carol to our church, and they weren't even coming yet. And Tim used to say, "Tell Coach Allen, Carlene, they got fruit over here. They done sow seed and it's growing, and they need to come eat some of that fruit." So that's how I got to know them. Now Carol came, and then now Carlene and Al are here too. So it's great to have them. That's how I know them.
Well, when thinking about tonight, and just one of the most powerful moments for me personally is how you were fighting for your friend in the spirit. And so, sometimes we like to kind of save some of those things for the ladies who did join us for Girl Talk. But if you could just, Miss Carol, elaborate on spiritually knowing how to fight for your friend and literally, to take the words out of your mouth, like speak her back to life.
Yeah.
Um,
So tell them what happened.
Okay, so my friend Carlene, we were at a basketball game, and she was just talking, doing her normal thing, and she was sitting up above me, and all I heard was something just tumbling all the way down to the bottom of the stairs, to the floor. And I looked down, and I see my friend, and she was out, no response whatsoever. And everybody came running to try to support her. And at first I was just screaming and hollering because that's my
That
friend
was your
down
friend.
there.
That was your girl.
And she wasn't responding at all. And then it got worse when I saw them bring out the paddles, the defibrillator. And so I'm screaming, telling her, "You have to fight, you have to fight." And just in my spirit, when I got my flesh kind of a little bit under control, I heard my spirit says that you got to pray in the spirit. You're fighting something that you don't know how to fight in your own words.
Yeah.
And that's when the spirit took over because I did not know what I was fighting against. I didn't know what happened to her because we were just talking and laughing. So it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I was just there
to
too.
see.
It was crazy.
It didn't make sense to me to see that. So I just began. I forgot that I was at a basketball game, and that gym was packed.
Yeah.
All I knew is
That was
my
your
spirit
friend.
took over,
Yeah.
and that was my friend.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. I learned so much at Orlando Royal Outreach with fighting in the spirit because I used to go to the Spirit-filled Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's where I received the gift of speaking in tongues at Spirit-filled Saturday. And I didn't understand it all, but I wasn't going to resist it. And when my spirit said, "Okay, you got to fight because in your own words, you don't have the words.
And what a gift that the Lord prepared you all the way back, because it's been some years since we did Spirit Filled Saturday.
Yeah.
That the Lord had prepared you even then, and you didn't even know when you were going to need to apply it. But He had, and that's how much the Lord loves us. He had already prepared you for that time. But I feel like that was just such a powerful moment. And then, even though you had invited her to church, you know, in love, what'd you say? You was kind of slow with your feet. And
You go ahead.
let us know what's over there. You go ahead, Carol. Tell us what's over. And then how do you feel like, even from that and seeing her heart for you as a friend, and even seeing the Lord be faithful even in your health, like what was a pivotal moment for you, even in just recognizing the power of prayer?
I think it was just everything, and it just reconfirmed to me that, you know, God is real.
Yeah.
He is faithful to those that serve him. And I was just so grateful because a lot of it I don't remember
Yeah.
what's going on, but I just like how, you know, I feel like her prayers protected me from all the way down. I still have on the same glasses that I had on then. Like, I fell off the bleachers and not a scratch.
Wow.
I had bypass times 5 and not a stench of pain.
Wow.
I was still able to get up, to walk, to do things that we take for granted.
Wow.
And till this day, I'm still here. And I thank God for my friend, my sister. I don't say friend because
Yeah.
this is family
Yeah.
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
me. And it's so cute because my mom always says, everybody need them a Miss Joanne.
Okay.
We call her Joanne.
Joanne.
So she says, everybody needs them a Miss Joanne.
And when you get mama approval,
What?
because you know moms can be a little territorial because they're looking back.
Mama's
That's my daughter.
like,
She
she
better
got
not-
it. She
Yes.
got it.
And you know when they are approved, when mom says, okay, whatever Joanne
Yes,
says, okay, whatever
yes,
Carolyn
yes.
says. So that's a blessing within itself.
You know.
But
That
she
is.
was a blessing to me that she let me hear, and she always talked about Orlando World Outreach and and at that time in space in my life, it was a low time for me, and for her to share with me, you have to go, because my kids were going to church. We were going to a church, and not talking about any church, but my children at the place where we were couldn't get a level of understanding.
Right.
Every time when we go to church, they flip out the cell phone, and I'm like, why we in church? And you don't flip out the cell phones. What's up? And they said to me, we need to go somewhere we can understand what they're saying. We don't understand what they're talking about. And by Carlene leading me here, it saved not only me. Now I was already saved, but
Right.
saved me
Yeah.
from a place of a low place. That she led me here, and even my children. My son to this day live in Atlanta. And he'll text me like, okay, what time church on Facebook? You know,
What
and
time my church on Facebook?
because he could understand it. And
that's
he
great.
said it's not only just word they give us, but I can apply it to my life because I understand what what Pastor
Yeah.
Tim talking about.
Yes.
So she saved me one day by
that's good.
sharing
Wow.
this place.
Yeah. You know, I was there and I had left. Was talking to her too. I would have never known anything was wrong. And Cara and I were both there. And coming back and just hearing the story of how you were praying for her and interceding for her. And then, I mean, it's funny now. It wasn't funny then, but just can laugh. And she woke up and told you, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? I'm not dead. But little did she know she was. And how you prayed her back. And I think that's a testimony in and of itself. And I also they were talking about it in because I worked at the same school she worked at, and but they were talking about it in my office and how she was asking for going to the ambulance asking for lesson plan, like her children want to go, ma'am, no, you cannot make lesson plans, you can't go to your classroom, you know, and just how amazingly God covered her even back then, even before she knew even before she probably knew you, and just the relationship that y'all were going to have, you know. So I think that's awesome.
Yes. One thing that I think was good too is, you know, I'm going to plug my church because I'm proud of my church.
Plug away, because I'm plug mine too.
But she asked, and it was actually after her surgery. You couldn't remember.
Yeah, after surgery.
It was after her surgery, and she said, "I have to see Pastor Tim. I have to talk to him. I have to share what God said to me. I have to see him." And not everywhere that you're going to get your pastor to come. Now, they may send somebody in his place, but you know, won't necessarily get him. But he said, and I text you, and I called you, and I said, she needs it. Coach Al did, and I did that.
Well,
She
you
needs
called, you
Pastor
text
Tim.
me, and he texted Tim
Yes.
that morning.
And he was there.
Yes.
And that just makes all the difference in the world that he took the time out to come and talk to her. But he's the same. You know, Pastor Tim has never called me friend, but I think he my friend. Because
No. He your friend. 'Cause he my friend too. His name is Brad.
She can get on me when I mess with her. She love me. She'll take up for me with my kids.
Don't
But let
mess
me
with my
say
pastor.
something about him. So, Donna, you can't
Nah.
talk
That's
about
how
my
she
pastor.
is.
other
Big
folks.
Al. I'm like, what?
So that's my friend too. You got
Yeah.
friends. But you know that you learn that, and I've learned a lot just looking at the two of you. So that just that that's not friend.
Miss Carol, you mentioned about being, you know, even in a low place, even when she, you know, invited you to start attending the Church Orlando Outreach Center. Like, share what is it like to be someone in a low place, right? And your friend may be more in a high place. You know, what did that look like, or how was your friendship held intact? You know, what was the plumb line in your friendship, even though you may have been going through a season that Miss Charlene may not have been going through? What did that look like?
Yeah, for me, it caused me to try to kind of like pull away, like she would call, and you know, I'll talk to her for a second, but then it's like, okay, I'll call you back.
Yeah.
You know, and
But you knew
just
you
kinda-
weren't.
I knew I wasn't.
knew you weren't,
and
okay.
I just would put her off. You know, just kind of just push her away.
Did you tell she was doing that?
No,
No?
not really,
Okay.
because you know, and I'm not a needy type person.
Yeah.
So I just took her at her word. She hadn't shown me anything different. You know what I mean?
And praise God for that.
Yes.
Yes. Shield your
Yes.
heart from that.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah,
Miss Karen.
so and you know, I would be home by myself, and I would just cry, you know, and just didn't know how to get out of that. And I lived by myself. All of my family was in Jacksonville except for a brother. And she would just call. It would seem like the Lord just would have her to call right on time, you know. And she would just share the church. Girl, we had the message. And she wasn't pushy. She would just share. And it took, now she was sharing for a long time before I decided to come. But she never stopped. But she was never just overbearing. She was just saying, you know, try it out sometime. You know, and I thank God. I was living in Sanford at the time. And I was actually attending. It's been a long time. I've been here for a long time. I just sat in the pew now. I sat
I'm still in the pew, but they here. That's
I
okay.
sat in the pew for years, crying, and you know, and just how to pull yourself out of this place. She was married, beautiful children. I'm divorced. My children struggling, trying to find a place and trying to navigate this world. And I think not only did God bring me Carlene for me, but he brought Coach Al for my children.
Wow.
Because especially my daughter,
Yeah.
and you know, like you and Pastor
Hey,
Tim
he
has
can't do
poured
no-
into my daughter.
That man can't do no wrong. Now I know he probably do some wrong, but he got my child too.
Yes.
He can't do no wrong.
Yes. So they have blessed my life.
Yeah.
I think much more than I've ever done for hers, because I feel like she saved it
Yeah.
by directing me here.
I love that. I think what a gift, even in the form of friendship. I almost, but I'm a tough cookie. I almost went there myself, getting a little emotional. But you think about the times when you do pull back as a friend, right?
Yeah.
And you want to be quiet, and every time that that's the Holy that friend will call.
It's true.
Yeah.
And the timing is always so perfect.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think like it could be the friend in the form of the phone, but I'm like, Lord, I hear, like, thank you for seeing
Yeah.
me. Because the friend didn't see you.
Yeah.
But the
they
Lord
just being
used them.
obedient.
Yeah.
And then you think about how many times if it was a random person, you really weren't going to answer. You talk about
Right.
pull away, you really weren't going to answer.
Yes.
So I thank God for those moments that we've all been able to experience
Yes.
where the devil had you for a minute. Like,
Yes.
okay, let me sit over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because her life all together and,
Yes.
and I ain't, I'm not there. Lord,
Yes.
you said you had this for me and that for me and she's getting it, but he still has it. But not only does he still have that for you, he has that friend for you in the
Yes.
form of a gift of saying, girl, you gonna keep being obedient.
Yes.
And you talk about not only you had your friendship bless you, but even your children.
Yeah.
And you think about sometimes we don't think about how a friendship can bless beyond you, but your children and even family. Like you said,
Yeah.
become family. And I think what a blessing, what a testimony that your friendship can be to so many people and walking in obedience.
Yes.
Yeah, friendships are definitely so key. I was saying that a friend is that I was talking to my oldest daughter, and I was telling her how a friend is. You want that friend that when you're in a fight, they there, they got your back. They if they need to jump in, they will. But even if your teeth get knocked out, they be like, "Girl, get your teeth, they out, take it out. You got this." You know how you look back, but she knocked my teeth out. Here, come on, come on, I got you. And you want them, to encourage you to be there and let you know, even encourage you to do things you don't think you can even do.
Yes.
And
Girl, come let me fix your wig. Let me wipe
come
this
on,
knot.
guys.
Come on. Reset. Let's go. We ready. We ready. And you turn around and they're there.
They're
Yeah.
there.
Or you
Yes.
wake up and they're there.
Yeah. And like I was saying earlier, when I went for the second surgery, we walking in the hospital in the hallway, and it's like, Miss Joanne already beat us here,
Yeah.
But just knowing that she's always there praying, and and then I struggle with, I want to do so much for her. I want to give back,
Yeah.
but she doesn't expect it. She's like, just be you. Don't
that's
worry
the thing
about it.
with friendships.
Exactly.
You can't. It's like the things that I've done for my friends, they can never repay me, and
Yeah.
the things that they've done to me, for me, I can never repay them, and that's not what it is about.
It's not
Exactly.
monetary,
It's not.
a gift.
Nope.
There's
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah,
that can replace.
it's that you was there,
Yes,
and that's all
exactly.
that
That's
That's
all
all
that
that matters. So I think that's really cool in a friendship that.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here like, okay, it ain't a friend when you sitting there like, well, I did that for you. Now what you want?
Exactly.
I was there. Where you at? Well, I had my baby. Where you at? Why you ain't here?
Yeah.
I need
know?
the friend who moving. I say, girl, I'm crying. Okay, I'm on the way. Now, where are we going? Where am I? Where I'm because I'm already believing God. I don't even know what it's for. I think that's a great segue. How important, and this is a question for both of you, and this is how we'll close out. How important is faith in friendship? Because, the world would kind of say, like, what does faith have to do with friendship? But I know for me personally, if I'm having an off season or an off time, and although I'm a believer, my faith may not be well, so-and-so's is that day. And so for both of you, even from how you ladies were sharing at Girl Talk, and even Pastor Joe, you shared too, in reference to a season where your faith may have been a 6 or a 5.
Right.
But your friends was at a 10 and the Lord used her.
Exactly. I think it's so important because I know for myself, I'm mindful of what I say because I truly believe there's power in what we speak, and what we say. And she has helped me so much with that, from everything, all the way down from a basketball game. She's like, stop talking negative. And I'm like, ooh, you're right. You're right. Okay. And I changed it and things turn around. But with everything that I went through health-wise and in life, work, whatever, just seeing her faith in her talking to me and teaching me and telling me what God can do and believing and knowing and seeing, it's so valuable to me, just so valuable.
But listen, the real no, because I don't want to think that anyone to think that I always walk in faith.
but that's what we're
because
talking
when
about,
I can do it I can walk in faith for her, but sometimes when I'm looking at myself and the things that I'm going through on my own,
Tell the truth.
then somebody else got to pull me up, you know. So, but when I think about faith, which I try to get Carlene to really see and understand, when she was going through her health, this girl, I mean, just got chest cracked open. She just hop up. She would just go. I mean, she was operating in faith because she believed in who she heard while she was going through what she was going through. And when I look at her life, and I see the change that God has made through her and that she wants to. She's the one that comes before the Lord and say, I know I messed up today.
Yeah.
But I thank you for loving me. She don't understand the faith and the love for Christ that she has.
Yes.
But that's what I've seen in her.
Yeah. That just grow.
Every day I
Every
see
day. I think faith is very, very important because I remember I had a friend that her walked with her through her husband having an affair on her, and she was hot. She was, and she said, "Let's get in the car. Let's go." I said, "Okay."
I need Vaseline or not?
I need to take my earrings out. Yes, let's go. We get in the car. I'm like, now, Lord, to myself, I'm like, now, Lord, I can't let her go beat this lady up.
Yeah.
And so we going in the car, and we get to the stop sign from her neighborhood. I said, do we even know where we going? She said, no.
But she knew you was there.
Yeah, but she know, and because I was egging on, let's go. Do we even know where we're going? No. And then we stopped at the stop sign. We just looked at each other. I said, you know we can't go.
Yeah.
She said, I know. And then just knowing that I was there for her.
Yeah.
And it ended up, we ended up praying. Our relationship went to another level. That woman, prayer warrior. I mean, she and her husband are, doing very, very, very well. And but just walking and praying her through that moment. And she said that what I remember is that you let me be me in a moment when I was vulnerable. In a moment when I wasn't even thinking about the Lord and I wanted to fight. And you made me think you was going to let me fight. But you already knew.
Yes.
That I was going, that I already knew. I mean, you already knew that the Lord was going to intervene and He used me. So I think in those times, we do need friends that have faith and can see beyond what's the mess that's there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even when you can't see it at the time.
Yeah.
You see
I'm
it.
too busy blowing my nose and crying, but see for me. See for me because I can't
So
see.
I think that's really, really important. That's a great question. I think that's very important.
That's good.
That's good. And I just want to, we'll get ready to close out, but I think too, for me, it's even challenging your friends in their faith because we can get stagnant. We can get stagnant. And I think if that's your friend, you can say, hey, all right now.
Right.
Like you and your word, what is the Lord saying? Like what is the Lord speaking? Like, are you being obedient? I see you kind of stagnant. You're pulling back all of those things because a real friend in faith is one of the best gifts we can ever have. And that's the friend who will receive from. Because let's be honest, I can call you friend, but I'm not going to receive from everyone in that way.
Yes.
That's going to challenge my faith. But I know ultimately my salvation is their main goal.
Yes.
And so I'm just grateful that you ladies were able to join us.
Thank you.
Powerful testimony of friendship. And it was just such a great time. We want to encourage you ladies to make sure that you join us for next month. What's next month?
Next month, you do not want to miss it. It's going to be on single, relationships with singles.
Okay.
So we're going to, I hope we're going to hear from some young ladies, some single young ladies, what it's like.
Let us know. I mean, come on, say what you
what it's like out there in these streets. And then March, that's February.
Yeah,
March,
February.
March, we're going to talk about married relationships.
Okay.
So I'm excited. Yeah.
Excited about all. Well, again, we're so grateful that you guys joined and clicked in and listened to the Girl Talk podcast. We look forward to seeing you guys next month. We love y'all. Hashtag take me off speaker. And God bless. Bye.
Good night.